What's going on, guys? Briar Rabbit here. Yesterday, I made a video talking about the top 10 ways that I think Destiny's Crucible could be improved. Number 10 on that list was to take a look at weapon balance. In fact, for the last 2 weeks on the Planet Destiny podcast, we have spent significant time talking about the weapon balance of Destiny, and specifically, the complete ineffectiveness of pulse rifles. Well, it turns out that Bungie has been listening. Last night, Bungie released their weekly update, and in it provided a link to an amazing article detailing not only what the most deadly weapons of Destiny are, but also what they are going to do in the upcoming February patch to balance those weapons out. In today's video, I'm going to take a deep dive into this post and tell you what all this means to Destiny's players. Let's start by taking a look at the stats that were provided. The first graph Bungie shared was the percentage of kills each primary weapon scores in both PvP control and in PvE. In both, auto rifles are extremely popular. But I found it interesting that the auto rifle remains fairly consistent between Story and Crucible, while every other archetype's usage drops down precipitously when moving from Story to PvP. The Scout Rifle being the most dramatic, with a drop from 16% in PvE to only 3% in PvE. Shotgun use and Pulse Rifle use probably count for a lot of this, but it was still very surprising. Next, we see the top 10 most lethal weapons over the last 30 days. And what's crazy about this is that 6 of the top 10 are auto rifles, and the 7th is the Vex, which acts very similar to an auto rifle. No scout rifles, only 2 hand cannons, both of which are exotic, and 1 pulse rifle, the Stranger's Rifle. I'm frankly surprised not to see any scout rifles out here at all, and the lack of exotic pulse rifles is concerning as well. But this is where the February patch comes in. Patch 1.1.1 will include some significant weapon balancing changes to Destiny. Let's start with the most popular weapon in Destiny by far, the auto rifle. Bungie would like this archetype to be most effective at close to medium range, and they would also like players to make a choice when upgrading an auto rifle to either choose stability for close quarters engagement or range for better accuracy at a distance. The changes they are making to these weapons will include a reduced base damage to all rifles by 2.5%. This is averaged over all the auto rifles. Those with higher rates of fire will take smaller decreases. Those with a lower rate of fire, like the Suros regime, will take higher decreases. Auto rifles will have less effective range, so damage drop-off will actually start sooner. Range reduction is less severe in the higher stat values, so now your range stat will be more critical to long-distance encounters. I'll be honest, these changes actually sound great to me. Reducing the DPS of auto rifles will allow more weapons in the game to be valid choices in PvP and PvE, and making the range-increasing perks on a weapon have real effect will allow players to either customize weapons for short range or for long range play. Next, Bungie is making significant changes to pulse rifles, Destiny's least used weapon type. The goals are this: make pulse rifles optimal at medium range, but still allow them to be used at close and long range distances. Allow the rate of fire to set the pace for tracking moving targets and delivering precision damage in burst. The changes they are making: increase the damage by 9.7%, making the DPS for pulse rifles more similar to other primaries. I can't wait for this. The pulse rifles in Destiny are some of the most interesting weapons in the game. Bad Juju and Red Death may become the power weapons they were always meant to be. Also, look out for the Stranger's Rifle in Crucible. This gun was good already. Now imagine it with a 10% damage boost. Hand cannons were next on the list. For these, Bungie seems pretty happy, but wants to tone down the range just a little bit. They would like hand cannons to be optimal at medium range. They should also be more effective when shots are paced and become less effective when fired quickly. They should reward agility when under fire, precision targeting, and snapshots. The changes they are making to accomplish those goals: Bungie is reducing effective range on each hand cannon. Damage fall-off will start closer to the shooter, and follow-up shots will be less accurate at long ranges. And they will receive a slight reduction to initial accuracy. Not so much noticeable at close or medium ranges, but less sticky at long distances. In my opinion, hand cannons should be high-risk, high-reward weapons. Having less accuracy, auto-aim, is great, and hand cannons should not be effective as low-powered snipers. So reducing the range a bit should work as well. Next up, fusion rifles. Love them or hate them, you can't deny they are OP as hell. The range is just too long, and Bungie knows this. Their goals for this weapon type are: fusion rifles should be optimal at mid-range and require foresight to predict a target's movement successfully. The changes they are making to accomplish this: the blast pattern on a fusion rifle burst will be wider. Close to medium range volleys should be unaffected, but at long range you are unlikely to get a one-shot kill. Initial starting ammo will also be reduced. Starting a Crucible match, you will have less fusion rifle ammo in reserve. This is amazing. Fusion rifles will remain deadly at close to medium range, but we will lose this BS cross-map one-shot kill that can be so frustrating. And players will have to go out and get more ammo for them faster. I love this. This will create a more balanced Crucible with more strategy involved. Last on this list of weapon changes is the shotguns. And again, Bungie shared some usage stats here. As you can see, shotties are very popular in PvP, but get barely any use in PvE. Bungie's goals are: the shotgun should be optimal at very close range. They should complement melee attacks and other close quarter builds. Offensively, closing on an enemy with a shotgun should be a risk-reward timing game. To achieve this, they are making significant changes. Shotguns will get a 2x damage increase against non-Guardian combatants. 2x! They will also see a reduction in high-end range values. Damage drop-off will start sooner. In the Crucible, players with long-range shotguns will need to get a bit closer for successful one-shot kills. And like the fusion rifles, starting ammo will be reduced. Again, I am completely psyched about these changes. Doubling the amount of damage in PvE will hopefully make these weapons very useful against enemies. And reducing starting ammo and the effective range of shotguns are both very welcome changes. So that's it. Scout rifles, snipers, machine guns, rocket launchers, all of them will remain largely untouched. To me, all of these changes seem like they will make for a much more balanced game and add to the fun of Destiny by making weapons that were underpowered before much more useful. I can't wait to start using my shotguns in PvE and my pulse rifles in PvP. What do you guys think? Are these the changes you were looking for? Are you ready for a new hierarchy of weapons? Or were you happy with the way things were? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.